Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Juice Baseball channel, and welcome back to another episode in the Kansas City Royals rebuild. Here on MLB The Show 23, we are into our first off season. Well, we are about to begin. We got to finish the playoffs. We obviously were not a part of the playoffs this year. Not surprising, as we finished, not the budget, we finished with a record. Oh, I thought it would tell me, but I guess it hasn't shown up yet. We can go to the standings though. We finished 65-97, the worst in the American League Central, but not the worst in the entire Major League Baseball, because teams like the Athletics exist at 58-104. Teams like the Nationals exist. The other team that I was possibly going to choose, and maybe I should have chosen for this rebuild for MLB The Show 23, at 54-108. The Reds exist at 57-105. The Rockies 63-99. So we're not the worst team in the league, but we are by no means ready to go contend for a championship or anything like that, obviously. That's still a few years away. In the last episode, we finished the regular season, we simulated the rest of the month of September, and we took a look at all the stats for our own players. So if you want to go look at that, I did every single person in the pitcher rotation, and I did every single person in the actual lineup. So if you want to go take a look at that, that's the end of last episode. You can go see all those stats if you're curious. I won't do it in this episode, because in this one, we are going to be taking a look at the awards. It looks like Aaron Judge won the MVP this year, back to back. Good for him. Good for him. Trayce Thompson takes home the MVP in the American League. At 32 years old, he's had a resurgence. 39 home runs, 112 RBIs, a 305 average. He hit OBP of 396. He slugged 610, a 1.006 OPS, and he had a WAR of 6.7. This is a fantastic season from Trayce Thompson. Man, baseball's crazy. That just goes to show you that any given moment, any given season, really any player can get hot for an entire season. I mean, the numbers he was putting up, he's only an 82 overall, but it's this contact stuff he's got. He's got 84 contact versus righties, 90 contact versus 90 power versus righties. So he was putting up some crazy numbers in LA, and he won the MVP. Congratulations to him. Cy Young goes to Carlos Rodon, beating out Shohei Ohtani, who is a free agent this year, and the National League Cy Young goes to Julio Urias. Congratulations to them. Batting title goes to Steven Kwan, just beating Vinny Pasquantino and Luis Arraez. We had two guys who had a chance at the batting title, but Steven Kwan was just having too good of a season. He had, how many hits did he have? 164 hits. He had a 335 average, an on-base percentage of 417. Yeah, he was just killing the game, man. He was absolutely destroying it. He probably deserves to win it. National League batting title goes to Jeff McNeil. The reliever of the year is Ryan Presley and Edwin Diaz, who I do want to have on the team at some point. Then the rookie of the year is Gunnar Henderson, just beating out Roki Sasaki, who had a very solid rookie season, but Gunnar Henderson, I guess, just had a better year at the plate. The National League rookie of the year is Jared Traola, so good for him. Hank Aaron is Mike Trout in the American League, and Trayce Thompson in the National League. Man, Trayce Thompson had a fantastic year. And here are the Gold Gloves. I'm not going to read out every single name, but I will go back and forth between American League and National League so that you can see each one's awards, and then we'll go over like the stats for around the league. Then we'll get into the actual off-season stuff, because the off-season is going to be pretty massive. It looks like we won Silver Slugger catcher with Salvador Perez, so that's pretty cool. But we need to figure out what we're going to be doing. Plus, Bobby Witt should be coming back, I would hope. So there's all the awards. Let's take a look at the stats for around the league. We could go to league leaders is what I want to go to. Here we go. So I'm not going to read every single name. I'm just going to go through them very quickly. And then if you want to pause on a certain section, you can certainly do that. But we'll go through the National League next. But it would just take too long to go through every single statistic one by one and tell you like the top 10 or whatever. So now we're back to the top of it. So we'll start with the National League then. It looks like the Padres had a very good year. So did the Phillies in terms of their players just hitting a lot of a lot of balls, basically. Getting on base a lot. Trace Thompson is the really the outlier. And maybe the Trace Thompson-led Dodgers will take control of the National League and win the World Series. It could happen. I mean, the Dodgers usually win the World Series anyway. They're the 1 seed in the National League, so it could very well happen. That is for sure. Top prospects. Do we have anybody in the top prospects? A couple Reds players. We do. We have Elijah Green, Gavin Williams towards the bottom. That's good. Hopefully. And we have, who was that? Tink Hence. So we have 3 guys in the top 50 prospects. You love to see it. As far as team rankings, we were probably at the bottom for everything. Yeah, we were 24th in batting average. We were 21st in at-bats. What are we for runs? 25th hits. 23rd. Yeah, we're at the bottom half for everything. The bottom half for everything. Not surprising, though. Absolutely not surprising. That'll change. That will change. Let's go simulate into the playoffs. We'll see kind of how things are going into 2 weeks. It is the not the Dodgers. It is the Angels and the Twins in the ALCS. And in the NLCS, it's the Mets and the Cardinals. The Mets upset the #1 Dodgers. Okay, good for them. Let's see who's playing in the World Series. It's the Twins and the Cardinals. So even with Shohei Ohtani and Trout, Dodgers can't do it. Or not the Dodgers. Why are you doing that? The Angels can't do it. And it's the Twins and the Cardinals. What a World Series. Haven't played yet. Now we go into November. It's 2-2. It's 3-3, Game 7, Cardinals and Twins. And the Cardinals beat the Twins for the 2023 World Series. Congratulations to them. Who wins the awards? Who's the MVP of all the stuff? Tommy Edman wins the World Series MVP. And playoff MVP, or postseason MVP, goes to Byron Buxton. Well, there you go. Tommy Edman, World Series MVP. Cardinals take home another World Series championship, and we have to move on to the offseason. I'm excited, but I'm also scared. So we only have Drew Parrish retire on our team. Is there anybody of note retiring? Miguel Cabrera retires. I would assume a Hall of Famer, at least in real life he is. Wade Miley retires. Nelson Cruz, probably also a Hall of Famer in real life. Is there anybody in free agency that never got picked up? Robinson Cano. MLB The Show usually puts Robinson Cano in the Hall of Fame when he retires, but he most likely will not get into the Hall of Fame in real life because of obviously the steroid allegations and getting popped. So he probably will never make it to the Hall of Fame unless it's like his final year of eligibility. Kind of like the famous guys right now, like Sosa and McGuire and Bonds and all those guys. That's the Hall of Fame, or that's the retirement stuff. So it's Miguel Cabrera and Robinson Cano. No Nelson Cruz, but all right, whatever. Cabrera started in 2002. That's crazy. 519 home runs for Cabrera. Good for them. Good for them. As we start free agency, we have a few guys on exclusive contracts. I kind of want to bring Amir Garrett back and maybe Aroldis Chapman, but that's about it. We have a lot of money. So let's make an offer to Aroldis Chapman. He kind of wants a little bit more money than I would want. I'll do a $3 million contract for 2 years, and we'll make him a bullpen guy. We'll see what he says to that. He likes it. And then I'll offer, but not 5 years, that's for sure. I'll offer a 2-year contract, but $4 million. Amir probably wants a little bit too much money. I don't think I can pay him this much. That's a little bit too much. A 2-year contract for $3 million a year? That's $6 million. That's a lot of money for Amir Garrett. To be in the bullpen? Can I backload it? I could backload it or I could front load it. What do we do? That's a lot of money for Amir Garrett, who wasn't like that great. Like, he had an okay season, but he wasn't like amazing. He was kind of bad, actually. I don't know. That's a lot of money for him. If we front load the contract, he'll pay most of it at the beginning, I'll do it. He'll probably accept that. But I like Chapman and Garrett. I think they could be useful pieces for us. That's just a little bit more money than I thought I was going to pay. So we're paying $4.5 million so far to those two guys, which you could say is a bad thing to do. We need a new manager. I didn't realize our manager was gone. Who wants to be the new manager of the Kansas City Royals? Dusty Baker? But he gives us too many minuses. I don't want a guy that gives us too many minuses. 58 for Stanley, 58 years old. Kyle Snyder's only 41. And he gives us +2 to K per nines and walks per nines. +1 to speed and bunting. Kevin Cash. Odell Guzman doesn't really give us the good stuff. That first guy might give us the best pluses. Yeah, I think that might be the best one because although +3 to K per nines for Stanley Isaac. I might go Kyle Snyder though, just because the +1 speed, the +2 K per nines and walks per nine. I think I'm going to offer Kyle Snyder a contract. We'll offer him a $14 million deal. We'll have to change that. We'll give him a 4-year deal, and we'll bump up to $5 million. There we go. So he should accept that. That's a lot for a head coach or for a manager, but hopefully he accepts that. We don't need anybody else. It looks like next year we'll need a new third base coach. But other than that, everybody's on a pretty decent contract. We're not going to rebrand the team. And that's all the exclusive free agency we're going to need. So we're going to simulate here. Kyle Snyder's our new manager for the Royals. Love to see it. And it looks like the boys, Chapman and Garrett, have accepted their contracts. So if we go to the budget now, we have a lot of money. And Amir Garrett's now our second highest paid player. Very interesting. Okay. Very interesting. Let's keep going. Now we get to the qualifying offer stage, which we don't need to offer Moustakas. I'm not going to bring him back. Or Whitgren. So we're going to simulate. And now it's into free agency. So now we have arbitration. We have tender contracts. We have the 40-man roster. And we have regular free agency. And I know everybody knows the #1 free agent in this entire class, Shohei Ohtani. Had a really good year this year on the mound, 23-8 with a 2.79 ERA, and then hitting at the plate, had 44 home runs, 114 RBIs, a 2.73 average, slugging .573. In real life, people are projecting it to be over $500 million for his contract. So we'll see what happens in real life, whether he goes back to the Angels or if he goes somewhere else. But will he go to Kansas City? Maybe. We could use that #1. Although I did get him in the Red Series. Or did I not get him in the Red Series? Did I not get him in the Red Series? I don't think I did in the Red Series. I think I stayed away from him so that we could do it in this one. That's cool. Moving on to the rest of the positions around the league. What do we really need? Let's take a look at the lineup. We need a DH, obviously, because Moustakas is gone now. We could use some middle infield and a center fielder because Lorenzo Cain, he had a good year, I will say that. But he's not good enough to be a starter anymore. So middle infield and center field. Oops, I didn't want to go to that. So if we go to center fielders, Darth Bader is here. He didn't have an amazing season in New York, but a pretty good one. Nothing like to write home about or anything. Slugging .384. But does he really fit what I'm trying to do here? He's very good in the field, very fast. But does he fit what I want to do? I don't think he does. So then let's go to the middle infielders. Third baseman, Matt Chapman. There's not really anybody in the third base spot or the shortstop spot that I'd really want. Man, this is not the greatest free agency class. It's really Shohei Ohtani, Julio Urias, and nobody else. I mean, there's a couple decent pitchers. But for the value that's here, it's not much. It is not much. And some people have already gotten qualifying offers, so we'd have to give up like draft picks if we wanted to sign them. And that's the big problem with Shohei Ohtani, is we'd have to probably give up a draft pick if we wanted to sign Shohei Ohtani. And I don't know if that's the best idea. That's probably why I didn't do it in Cincinnati last year. because I didn't want to give up a draft pick. Teoscar Hernandez would be interesting. I don't really know where to go with this. This is pretty darn tough, trying to figure out what to do. We could bring Blake Trinan in, 82 overall B potential. Did not play last year at 35 years old. Trevor Rosenthal didn't play either. I don't really know what to do, if I'm being honest. I do not really know what to do. I guess I'm waiting for more for next year's classes, or for future season classes, to have better players, because these ones are not really doing it for me. Ian Happ would be interesting. He's got decent contact, decent power, good durability. He can play really everywhere. Didn't really play much for the Cubs. Did he get injured? He might have got injured. But if we're basing it off of his 2022 numbers, he had a really good year. So Ian Happ is a very interesting piece to bring him in. He can play a lot of different spots. Right fielders, I would probably only be interested in Teoscar. He had a pretty good year. Man, this is tough. This is tough. Tyler Mahle in real life has to go down for Tommy John. I just saw that a couple days ago. So that sucks for him. Former Red. Almost Cincinnati Red. We traded him in that series at the beginning of it, because I started that series right when that trade happened with Luis Castillo and all those guys. Do we go for Ohtani and say screw the draft picks? Or do we go for somebody else? I don't really know. We need another pitcher, because if we go to our pitcher rotation, we have 3 pretty decent players that I feel confident in developing, plus Asa Lacy, who had an up and down rookie season, or first couple months of his rookie year. So we need another guy. And how's the bullpen looking? The bullpen is not great, but okay. This is tricky. This is very tricky. If we go for like a Blake Snell, did he have a good year? He went 11-11 with a 5.35. He did not have a great year. Luis Severino had a decent season. Flaherty had 15-9 with a 3.58. He's coming off of that World Series. Sonny Gray in Minnesota, 14-10. Okay. 3.66. And then obviously like Tyler Mahle and stuff. Do we try to capitalize on the previous seasons for Blake Snell? I'm pretty sure this is the year he won the Cy Young. The previous seasons before he gets to San Diego, because he kind of sucks ever since he's gotten to San Diego. Do we try to capitalize on his past numbers and hope that he gets back to that, or do we just go with a different player? Because Luis Severino, out of all these guys, is probably the best one available. That's not Shohei Ohtani. But I don't really want Luis Severino or Blake Snell. I know that we need a pitcher, so I'm trying to figure out where we go. Maybe we try to dip down here a little bit, like Mike Mikolas. I never know how to pronounce his name, but he's 35. I don't really want to pay money for a 35-year-old. And then we're just right back to Tyler Mahle, who's 29, had a 3.95 ERA. Looks like he got moved again. He's not in Minnesota anymore. He's never had that great of an ERA, even in Cincinnati. Sonny Gray's 34. Flaherty's 28. 15-9 coming off of that World Series. Flaherty is probably the best option for us. A 4-year deal, 3-year deal at 13.3. I could jump that down to 13 exact. $13 million for 3 seasons of Jack Flaherty. Is that even good? He likes it, at least. He likes it a lot more than the Cardinals offer. I guess we could try to capitalize on him just going to the World Series. We probably could use another bullpen arm, too. Let's see. Who's here that is not super bad anymore? Jimmy Nelson, Joe Jimenez. What's his per nines look like? Hits per nine, Ks per nine is pretty good. The walks per nine is pretty solid. You know what? Joe Jimenez doesn't look too bad. He had an okay year. Pretty good. 2 blown saves. Joe Jimenez, I think we might try to go and offer you a contract. How about you like a 2-year deal and we'll bump it up to $8.5 million. How do you like that, Joe? He likes it a lot. So that's a bullpen arm. That's a starting pitcher that hopefully we get. We don't need any closers. Catcher, we have Salvador, so we're going to stay away from catchers. There's not really anybody that I'd go for anyway. First baseman, we have Pasquantino, and he's just coming off of finishing second in the Silver Slugger, so we're pretty good there. And there's not really anybody. I mean, Brandon Belt, we saw Brandon Belt absolutely cook us in that final game. 301 average. He had his best year since 2020. But before that, he had his best year of his career. Is Brandon Belt worth it? 35, probably not. Not to come off our bench, I wouldn't think. Second base, we could probably just stick with who we have. That's what it seems like we're going to do. Tony Kemp's only 32. I feel like he's been around the league forever. Colton Wong, I'm going to stay away from. Third baseman, Josh Donaldson. Not really been the same since he was in Toronto. How many home runs did he have this year? Only 8. Yeah, I think we're going to stay away from Donaldson. Shortstops, Mondesi coming back to Kansas City would be pretty cool. He didn't really do much while he was here. Like, he was never, like, a great player. He had a couple pretty good seasons right here in a row, but then he kind of dropped off the last few seasons. He's 28 now. He's more of a defensive guy than anything. He's got no offers. He can play second and third base. You know what? I might bring him back. Not on a 5-year deal, that's for sure. On a 2-year contract for $6.5 million per season. We'll see what happens with that. Then we go to the outfield, which I said we could use a center fielder. AJ Pollock, JD Martinez. Is JD still good? Not really. He was killing it in Boston these 3 years. Absolutely insane numbers. But he's not really the guy I'm looking for. Joey Gallo, probably not either. Just a strikeout machine. I mean, look at these averages in these last 3 seasons. 181, 199, 160. That's disgusting. Over 200 strikeouts. 200 strikeouts. Yoshida? Do we go for Yoshida? Yoshida didn't even play this season. Jesse Winker. Jock Peterson. What was the one season he had in LA? He had a really good season. I think it might have been this one in 2019. He had a really good season where he came up strong. Jung Ho Lee could be interesting. Not really anything in the left field. Cody Bellinger is about the only guy that intrigues me over here. Maybe try to invigorate his career, like resurrect it a little bit, because he had 3 solid seasons in LA and then kind of dipped off after he won the MVP. Didn't really do anything, although he might have got hurt this year. Oh no, this is the pandemic year. He might have got hurt this year. Or he just was bad, I don't know. That could have been it. And he didn't have that great of a year this year either in 2023. Only hitting 198. I don't know if it's worth it to spend the money on him. It's probably not, if we're being honest. Like I said, the only guy that I'd spend money on is really Teoscar Hernandez. Can he play center field? He can play center field. He's got 94 power versus lefties. I think I'm going to spend some money on Teoscar. He wants a bigger contract, like a longer contract. I could give you $9.5 per year for Teoscar Hernandez. That's over what the Mariners are willing to offer him. So our offers right now are Teoscar Hernandez, Jack Flaherty, Alberto Mondesi, and Joe Jimenez. So 2 pitching arms, a shortstop, and an outfielder. That brings our total contract to $37.5 million, but that's not even before we do salary arbitration and tendered contracts, because we had to bring back like Bobby Witt and all these guys. I'm going to go do all this stuff. I'm going to go do the tender contracts, the arbitration, and all that stuff, and I will see you guys back when I got that done. Okay, so I've offered everybody salary arbitration. I've done tender contracts. Now we just need to simulate, and if we go in here and we take a look on the bottom right, I have $101.5 million of pending offers between free agency, the tender contracts, and the salary arbitration. Our available budget is $136 million. So we are right on the edge of about that $30 million gap of what we have. Teoscar Hernandez signs with the Royals for a 6-year, $57 million deal. Ohtani is headed to the National League, taking his talents to San Diego on a 7-year, $245 million contract. That is pretty darn insane. And it looks like the tender contracts a lot of the guys are accepting, which is good. I need to make sure that we are not like in a battle with any other guys. Oh, we have Jack Flaherty. He signed a contract with us, so that's cool. And we are currently in the front running for Mondesi and Jimenez as well still, so that is good. We will keep simulating. Now it's time for the 40-man roster. Perfect. We can do that. Only Bobby Witt has his contract to accept. We have $69 million left. Nice. We've gotten Jimenez and Mondesi, so everybody that we wanted in free agency we got. We're just waiting on Bobby Witt. Obviously, he had that crazy injury that he's coming back from. We have 43 guys on the 40-man roster. We need to figure out who we don't want and who we do want. So let's go to the AAA team and figure out who's on the 40-man or who do we don't want on the 40-man that needs to be on there. Brady House. Everybody in the AAA team that's not on the 40-man, I could be fine with letting go. So that's good. That's good to know. That's good to know. Everybody on the AA roster that is not on the 40-man, I would also be okay with if they got picked up. There's not really anybody here that I need. But that means we have to get rid of a couple of people, because I think we have too many people on the 40-man as it is. Carlos Hernandez, I know we called you up last year, but we don't really need you on the 40-man, so bye-bye. And then who else do we not want on the 40-man roster? We also need to call somebody down. Who's up here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Asa Lacy. So we have enough pitchers up here. But bullpen arms, yeah, we're pretty good with bullpen arms. And then Camilo Duvall. Nick Prado. Does Nick Prado need to be up in the majors along with Michael Massey? Do these guys need to be up here? I don't know. Acuna doesn't need to be up here, that's for sure. He can go down to AAA or wherever. Maybe even AA. Kelnick. We need to call somebody down to AA, which will be this guy. So that's that. And then Connor McAlpin can be in Class A. And we need to call somebody else down to AA. It's probably honestly going to be Zach Veen. Move him to AAA. And then have, let's see, Tucker Bradley in Class A, George Cruz in AA. Lorenzo Cain in center field. Lou Walls might actually get called up. I'm not sure yet. Kelnick can get called up. And we'll move you down to AA. And then we'll move... Who do we move down? This guy. There we go. Danny Dietz. That's one of the draft picks, right? I think that's one of the draft picks. How many guys on the 40-man? We have 42 guys. So let's take down... I don't really know. Who doesn't want to be on the 40 man? Carter Jensen, maybe? I'd probably rather have Adrian Garcia on the 40 man, if we're being honest. Let's put... Can we put him on? Okay, we can't put him on. So Carter Jensen's gone off the 40 man. It's going to have to be one of these guys. But I like them. I don't want to move them off. I don't know where to go. I can't move anybody here. These guys are way too good to get moved off the 40 man. It's got to be somebody down here though. Maybe it's Austin Cox. Why is Austin Cox in the big leagues? No, Austin Cox should not be up here. I'll move him off the 40 man. If he gets picked up, that's okay. It's not a big deal. We'll move on. If somebody gets picked up from the 53 or from the whatever it's called, Carlos Hernandez got picked up by Washington, and Philadelphia claimed Austin Cox. Okay, I'm not upset about that. Rhys Hoskins goes to Miami. This is the last day for tendered contracts. I have nobody there. Bobby Witt accepted his deal. Perfect. George Springer gets traded from the Blue Jays to the Twins for a couple of mid players. Very interesting. Okay. CJ Cron signs a deal with the Giants. Ryan Presley gets traded from the Astros to the Red Sox, and the Astros get back Trevor Story and Chris Sale. So it's a bunch of old guys moving around. That's weird. And then the Red Sox not done. They're trading away 2 prospects, including Marcelo Meyer, for Freddie Freeman. The Red Sox might be going all in this year. The Rule 5 draft. Are we going to get anybody that we recognize? Doesn't look like anybody that I know. We don't even have a pick in the Rule 5 draft, which is not a bad thing. I mean, I'm not looking to get anybody, but did anybody go that it was on my team? Yoshida got picked number 1 overall, but nobody on my team got picked up. I don't think. I don't recognize the names, so that's good. Perfect. You don't have to worry. Luis Castillo traded from the Mariners to the Mets. The Mariners get back Jeff McNeil and Justin Verlander. What weird trades are going on? These are pretty insane. The Dodgers trade for Andres Munoz from the Mariners. Mariners making some big moves. They get back Landon Knack and Brandon Lewis. Some big trades happening in the offseason here. We could be a part of it, but I don't know. I didn't really want to feel like it. Aaron Nola signs a deal with the Angels, so the Angels replace their guy, Shohei Ohtani, with Aaron Nola. Is that a good pickup? Maybe. It might work out for him. We got to put Jack Flaherty in the starting lineup, and Sasaki can go there. Flaherty can go there. Singer will be our ace. All right, like that. Then the lineup. Teoscar will go and play probably center field. He'll probably play center field for us. He can play center field. And then we'll just have Lorenzo play DH, I guess. Maybe? Is that a good idea? Is that a bad idea? We might need to have Kelnick play DH, actually, against righties, and then versus lefties. I'm not really sure. Nope, don't want to switch that. Switch that. And then who's a good versus lefties off the bench? Do we have anybody? I don't think we have anybody that's super good. I mean, Teoscar obviously is good versus lefties, but I think we'll just have to ride with Lorenzo Cain. I guess we could have Isbell. No, he's worse. Massey's pretty good against lefties. Mondesi's good against lefties. So we'll have Mondesi play DH against lefties. Sure, why not? That'll work. I'll figure out the lineup, like the order and everything, a little bit later. But we got arbitration hearings to talk about. So the panel sided with the Royals. They sided with us. So we have to pay him $3.7 million, Nicky Lopez. Mike Myers, they signed with us. So we pay him $2.15. They signed with us again for Matt Beattie, $700K. They sided with Ian Anderson, so we're paying him 2.001. Okay. And panel sided with Arise. We're paying him 7.2. And finally, they sided with Singer, so we're paying him 2.1. And they sided with Stalmant, so we're paying him 1.6. Oliveras, we're paying 1.19. All right. So overall, not that bad. But everybody's back. The budget now sits at $53 million. We're paying Teoscar and Jack Flaherty some big money. All right, well, we'll make it work. We will make it work. Are we better than what we were last season? Probably. We're probably better. And now we go into the spring, so that is the end of the episode. The next episode will be, in this series, will be the spring training highlights that I commentate over. I'm going to bring that back, so you guys will see that. And then we'll start opening day of Season 2 in the episode after that. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought of the additions of Jack Flaherty, of Teoscar Hernandez. And, yeah, let me know what you thought of it. I think that this team is better than what we were last year. We added more power with Hernandez. We have the progression of Vinny Pasquantino, who was second in the Silver Slugger. We have, hopefully, the progression of Arise and Melendez. We bring in... we have another full year of Kelnick, so hopefully that's good. I mean, the team is obviously still not where it needs to be, but we're on track. We're a good team. We're not amazing, but we're not... I don't think we're worse in the division this year, but maybe we are, I guess, depending on an injury or anything. Is Bobby Witt back in the lineup? Bobby Witt is not back in the lineup. Where's Bobby Witt at? Bobby Witt, we need to make sure that he is... Oh, so he's on the Major League roster, but where's Bobby Witt? Good old Bobby. Where's he at? There he is. He's going to start as shortstop in every single lineup. I'm hoping that he doesn't get injured again, because that kind of ruined his season last year. He only played like 2 episodes before he got injured. So Bobby Witt now back in the starting lineup. That makes the lineup look a little bit better, having that 84 there. He only played, he only played in 8 games before he got injured. That's crazy. Only played in 8 games. I'm hoping he can have a resurgence too, so that'll be nice to have him back for hopefully a full season. But let me know down below in the comments what you thought of the offseason episode. We didn't go in for Shohei Ohtani, but I just didn't think it was worth it to pay him all that money and then have him be on a team that is not ready to win a championship. Shohei's the kind of player that needs to be on a team that's ready to win a championship, which is why it makes sense that he goes to San Diego. So, I didn't think it was right for us. We could have paid him, but then we would have lost the draft pick, and we just probably would have wasted a few years of Ohtani before we got really good. Maybe in a few seasons when we're ready to win a championship, we make a trade for Ohtani, and then he's on a championship-ready team. That could be a possibility. I don't know. But let me know what you thought. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.